Hello, hello, hello. Today is January 22nd, 2024. It's been a couple of weeks since we last heard from Norm Winski. He's going to tell you how he did and predict some change in trend dates for stocks and commodities. Norm, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Jeff. I was last on your show on January the 8th. Ahead of a couple of two or three events. And if you see AC here on the notes, that means after the close, so that's overnight. The night of the 10th, we had a new moon in the sign of Capricorn. Anytime we have a new moon, we look at financials, grains, precious metals, oil, and because it was in Capricorn, that's the sign for coffee, so we added coffee to that list. Then the night of the 11th, we had a Mercury cycle for corn, soybeans, wheat, and the night over the 12th, which was a weekend. Yep, that's a weekend. We had Pluto for the U.S. chart. Anything we do, then we look at U.S. financials such as stocks, T-bonds, and U.S. dollar. Here's the corn, kind of had a slight rise there into the moon, and that was the top. Then we just kind of went sideways. For a yellow box means a pass, means we're sideways. We don't do sideways. Here's the beans, had a decline into the moon, a little bit of a pop up there. You could have made a small profit on soybeans. Here's wheat was going sideways into the moon, and then had a decline here, so that was a miss. That was the Mercury cycle there. Then the coffee had kind of declined into the moon, and they had a little pop up there. It doesn't look like much on the chart, but that's about 6 handles, which in coffee is about $2,000 a contract. Here's crude oil, had a pull back into the moon, and then it popped up for about 4 handles, which is about $4,000 in crude oil. Silver was going sideways over the past year. The silver was one of my best markets, hit over 90% just on the lunar cycle there. Winning signals, Here's the gold pulling back into the moon, and then you see you could popped up there for about, let's see, this is it, we're about 50 to 30, up to about 40 handles there, $40, which is about $4,000. Here's the S&P, made an intraday top there, open, and then had a big drop during that day, or fall in the moon, on the new moon, and then it popped back up into the next day, and then you made another top there and then down. So that was two winners, but this Mercury, oh, I'm sorry, that's a U.S. point over there. That didn't work, so that was a miss. Here, T-bonds went sideways into the moon and then popped up for the U.S. point there, and that was a nice top there for the bonds. And here's the dollar, it pulled back into the moon for a low, and then we were just about 1 day early on this top over here, so that was too much drawdown there, so I counted that as a miss. Here's the British pound, rallied right into the moon, and that was the high of the month. And just in case you don't get it, we were looking to sell if it's going up and looking to buy if it's going down. Looking for ideally looking for extremes. Here's the euro, rallied into the moon for a top, and then a big decline. Here's the yen, pulled back into the moon, and it rallied up for a possible small profit. That was 12 winners, 3 misses out of 15 for 80% winners. And here we go. We got what's coming up now is over the next few days, actually next week, I guess. Let's see, the night of the night. This is over this past weekend, which was the 19th. We had a big cycle here. Pluto changing signs. Pluto is a 248-year cycle. So there's 12 signs. That's 1/12 of 248, roughly 20 years for Pluto in a sign. So it's changing signs, and we'll be looking at cattle, copper, cocoa, copper, cotton, hogs, and T-bonds. That was from the geocentric point of view over the past weekend. This afternoon, the 22nd of January, heliocentric. That's from the point of view of the sun. Pluto entered Aquarius also. This is the first time both of those entered Aquarius together like that in 248 years. Jeff, you might remember the last time that happened. That's a joke, Jeff. Okay, so Pluto entered Aquarius, Geo and Halo. True, this should be very long, could be short-term and very long-term effects on designated markets. There you go. Those are the designated markets there. We had a Mercury cycle there, major change in trend. Corn, soybeans, wheat. Mercury is grains, and let me remind you, stocks potentially respond to all events. Okay. And then the night, that's the night of the, that's tonight, is the night of the 22nd for Mercury. Tomorrow night, the night of the 23rd, we have Pluto to the U.S. chart for stocks, T-bonds, U.S. dollar. Then the afternoon of the 25th, when is that? The 25th is a Thursday. We'll have a full moon in the sign of Leo for financials, grains, precious metals, oil. And because it's in Leo, we're going to emphasize corn and gold. And then the night of the 26th, that's a weekend, Friday, that's over the weekend, Jupiter to the U.S. chart for stocks, T-bonds, U.S. dollar. And also that weekend, Uranus will be turning direct. That's you might have heard of retrograde. That's the opposite of retrograde. Is direct. Has to do with the relative motion of the Earth to the other planets. In this case, it's Uranus. And that's for cattle, copper, and cotton. So we'll be looking at those markets. Some of these markets I did not cover in the review. You didn't have charts, so here's the charts as of last night. I strongly recommend, if you're interested in this, look at the charts, what they did today, and because we're looking for, well, for example, here's cattle is going up, up, up into the weekend, and so the most likely thing is it's going to make a top here. Would have liked to see that rally today, and then top out, roll over, and turn down. Same thing on the cotton, up, up, and away. And here's cocoa also rallying into this past weekend. And here's hog just going sideways, so probably do nothing there. And copper popping up a little bit. If it rallied today, it could have been a top. So here, now another thing I do, Jeff, and I only show this about once a year, I do what's called fractals. Fractals are borrowed from a theoretical physics study called chaos theory. A branch of chaos theory is fractals. What is fractals? Fractals are repeating pattern at different levels of order. For example, a simple example in nature is a pine tree. A pine tree branches look like miniature pine trees, and the little twigs look like miniature branches, so the pattern repeats at different levels of order. We can do this in the market. You might have heard the phrase, as January goes, so goes the year. It's also called the January barometer. I took that theory and applied it to the markets, and so I take the January price action and extrapolate it for the rest of the year. And here's an example here. Then at the end of the year, I overlay the results. Here's natural gas for last year. I generated the forecast. These blue bars are what happened in January. And you see there I published this in February 1st last year. And then the black bars are what actually happened. As you can see, pretty nice correlation there between the forecast blue bars and the actual prices, the black bars for natural gas. Okay, and then here's me. I've been doing this a long, long time. Started trading based on the astrology back in the early 70s when I was in college. Made enough money to buy a membership on the then fledgling Chicago Board Options Exchange in 1975. Did that for 12 years. Also traded on the Chicago Board of Trade. Studied all these different disciplines: Gann, Elliott Wave, astrophysics, astrology, music cycles, Fibonacci, and many other things. So I got a little bit of experience. And you can contact me here. I'm in beautiful Naples, Florida. You can call me at 239-594-3939. You can email me at this email address, or you can also use that same address to call me on Skype. So looking forward to helping some of your folks there, Jeff. Everybody have a great day and a great week ahead.
Norm, that's terrific. Another 80% month, and you're correct. I have not been doing this for 248 years.
Okay.
More like 60.
It's good to know. There you go.
All right, so we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Norm, that's terrific, and we'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.
Okay, thanks a lot. Bye.